Oh my goodness, what a, I feel like a dancing day here. Thank you for those of you who are rejoining.
Sure.
Really so happy that we have this opportunity to try to redo this class. All right, so as we were starting and finishing and now starting all over again, I'm going to just take a deep breath. We should all take a deep breath, you know, so as we're spinning sometimes from one thing to the next, that we should, hi. I don't know if we started recording, but love you all for joining, and hopefully
Recording in progress.
we will benefit a lot from this class today in our love and our relationships. It's an incredible day coming up on Shabbos. What a holy day to experience this holiday. So since we can't really get together, all of you around the world, we're getting together here in preparation for it. And the more we prepare for it, the more powerful all the gifts and blessings of that day come our way. Wow. I mean, it's very interesting, you know, if you study deeply about this day, it is taught that today, meaning the day of Tu B'Av, is as holy and as grand, as great as Yom Kippur. Like the joy of Yom Kippur, to really just like bury the last year and like remove and get rid of all that was so that you can start anew, happens on Yom Kippur. Well, in reality, Tu B'Av is that kind of day. And there's so many reasons why this holiday is such a joyful holiday, equal to no other than Yom Kippur. So, well, you know about the teachings that the moon at its fullest is on the date of the 15th. And there's many other holidays that land on the 15th. You know, so what is it about Tu B'Av that brings us the greatest joy, even more than some of those holidays that land on the 15th? Because the 15th represents like the fullness of like the max, like the greatest expression of light. So, and it feels very strange. I mean, we just went through the 3 weeks, and it's such a month full of destruction and full of tikkunim and full of like, you know, heartache and fasting. Like, so it seems so odd that out of all of the other holidays that are on the 15th that land on the full moon, why this date? Well, first of all, we learn in the deep teachings of Hasidus that the light in its fullness coming from a darkness is a fuller light than the light that was before the darkness. So you have light, and then it's dark, and then like there's an intense light after it. I mean, I was once stuck underground, my first time in a subway with my young little daughter, who I didn't want to really go, but I wanted her to see her relatives, and I like took the brave step because it was like the first time and on my own, but it was an opportunity, and we got stuck, you know, remember the blackout. And when we saw the light of day after we got under those underground, you know, where the darkness hit us out of nowhere, I remember the feeling, wow, I was like on a high that we were able to get out, especially after I found out that like the whole world was in darkness and stuck under there for like, you know, days, and people did not get back home. So, but I was just like, I remember the feeling of how much I appreciated the light after the darkness. So this reminds me of that there's this greater light after there's a darkness. And so the tragedies and the challenges of what we went through, which is the darkness after the light of creation, taps us into a greater light. And that's why this month that we have the tragedy, and we have also this blessing of this Tu B'Av day, the light is so much greater that it causes us to have the greatest of joy, just like Yom Kippur. And let's talk about what happened on this 15th day of Av. Many things happened. One of the things that happened, which we're going to focus more on, is that there was a lot of challenges, and I really actually should put this on every shidduch website or shidduch, Facebook Live as well. There were challenges back then in shidduchim. There was, like today, sometimes, money, beauty, aristocratic lineage, so there was a time that it was very difficult because there was a lack of brotherly love because of an incident that happened. And to make a whole long story short, that conflict and that challenge ended. And it was just like a freedom. The women went out with beautiful, gorgeous wedding gowns, all in white. And there was such brotherly love that they didn't want to make the distinctions. That each one borrowed each other's dresses so that no one could tell. Oh, this is from a rich family. Oh, you see, this one is from a lineage family, a Yichus family. There was such a unity of wanting to make sure that everyone would have a fair chance to get married, that they all agreed to do this. And it's so interesting, besides the fact that this happened, the way it's described in different, Talmud Yerushalmi and Talmud Bavli, of how this scene took place, and the discrepancy of how it was described, the details, teaches us a lot of messages of today, not only in Shidduchim, but also in our own personal growth and redemption, of really revealing the truest, best self. So because when you see the way it's written differently, it gives us a hint and secret messages what we can learn today. Because whatever happened then, it's exponentially, powerfully igniting those energies and those powers of our soul on the 15th. And today we're together to prepare for this. We will maximize our benefit. So there was one sentence said as follows: "Young man, lift up your eyes and see." One sentence says that it actually said, "Young man, lift up your eyes and see the ugly ones." So the question is asked, so why the difference? And why are you going to say, look up and see that I'm ugly? It doesn't make sense. It actually, you want to increase your chances of marriage. So, so the idea is that the ugly ones, as stated here, I want to read it, meant to be a hint. Lift up your eyes, men. Look at beyond the physical world, meaning don't look down on this earth. Don't look at my physical beauty or my monetary beauty, as it were, my riches or my lack of riches. Don't look at my beautiful lineage or my lack of beautiful image. Look up your eyes. Go to the spiritual core of connecting to me, because who I truly am, for my spiritual qualities, for my God-fearing nature, not because of my personal accomplishments or the personal accomplishments of my family and my lineage. Take me for who I am. And realize that really, in essence, I'm ugly, because it's not me. It's everything that Hashem has bestowed upon me or not. And that's why it says this ugliness refers to the humility that has given the key core attribute of why, if anything, you want to marry me. That I'm trying to reach a level of humility and realize that nothing that's mine is mine. And that's why all the women decided, let's get out of this rat race. Let's get out of these game playing like situations. Let's all let the men see us for who we are, not because of the way we're dressed. And that's why they switched the dresses. So the teaching then explains to us that some say that it's the daughters of Zion did this. And some in other places say the daughters of Yerushalayim did this whole like beautiful ceremony. Oh, don't you love them? Like you just see the picture of all the daughters in all the mixed dresses, and you just like are falling in love with their character and their strength and their commitment of sisterly love. Like, you know, we always say soul sisters. Imagine that. You know me, I'm into like, you know, beautiful like a kala, like it's and all the things that I just am always saying. It's not the dress that makes you beautiful. It's your garments of your soul, your thoughts, your speech, and actions that bring out the beauty of your soul. As beautiful as your soul is, as infinitely high your soul is, every action, every non-action actually, and refraining from a negative behavior, every deed you do is what is your garment and what makes you so beautiful. So making everyone equal in that way was getting rid of the outer exterior things that get in the way of really two soulmates meeting each other. So why does it say the daughters of Zion, and why does it say the daughters of Yerushalayim? So the Rebbe actually gave a mashal of a wedding. And someone is a guest in someone's house, and they happen to be that night, have a wedding, and they have nowhere to eat, nowhere to go. So the owner of the home says, you know, you're my guest. You know, one of my children are not coming. Please, please come. They said you can come. They love for you to come. And so they go to the wedding. And they don't know anybody. They're barely, you know, they don't know the kala. They don't know. They try, you know, but they're there and they're not really so, you can't really see that they're so happy. Then there's the mother of the bride. And if you see her, and maybe God forbid she waited 8 years, you know, and she is beaming of joy, or maybe it's the kala herself, after waiting how long, and finally the day came, it's oozing out, and you can see it, everything they do, they're just so happy. When they're dancing, they're just so happy. So the Rebbe actually gave the example of this to portray the difference between daughters of Zion and daughters of Yerushalayim, and how they partook of this festivity. If it was just someone said, you know, just come and like, maybe they were dancing and they really didn't want to, but they were there. Then they were the daughters of Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim comes from the word Yerushalem, which means Yira. They are the ones that really worked on their hearts. They are the ones that really were happy to do this. They had worked on themselves to have such love of Israel and such love of sisterly love and soul sisterly love, however you want to say it. It's like they were the ones that were complete in their heart while doing it. No regrets, no maybe I shouldn't, all right, maybe no peer pressure and whatever. And so they were dancing. You could see it. It was just such a difference. Just like the one who's dancing was just a guest of a guest, then the daughter of, the mother of the bride, or the bride herself. Meaning these were the daughters of Yerushalayim. They had reached that perfect heart. Meaning a more perfected heart. The more full and happy heart. From having really developed this Yirat Shalem. So when you think about even like from what was to what became of this amazing day, where did it all begin? The month where there was destruction, the month where the breaching of the walls, the shattering of those walls that ended up to the destruction, that ended up to then leading to such a holy and happy and joyous day as Tu B'Av. In another Sikha, the Rebbe says the breaking down of the walls actually represents having broken the borders down. For instance, the borders of the law of God's Torah. Breaking down of the walls represents breaking down the borders so that there's not a collective group. There's no unity because it's just all over the place. And everyone and all the enemies comes in. Like from a spiritual perspective, you didn't like safeguard yourself, and all the ruach shtus and all the inner and outer enemies are plaguing you and stealing you away from like having that unity within yourself, which ends up causing disunity with others. Because if you don't have that yirat shalem and you're not full of love of Hashem, then it's very easy to have the Yetzer Hara to control your mind and like really break down your barriers of keeping peace and breaking down the walls of compassion and understanding, because you're so easily hurt by the other. You're so easily like broken that they didn't pay attention to you. They so, disappoint you. You have so many expectations and you're crumbling because you're hurt. And I was saying in the other class that this is like the number one like place of destruction. If you're so needy of other people, of making you feel loved and making you feel they respect you and making you feel that you're number one in their life, and they're not going to make that happen so easily all day long, 24/7, and then you're such a raw emotion of not a yirat shalem heart, but a heart full of expectations, a heart full of pain. And we're human, we feel these things. Don't get me wrong. I was there. I'm still, we're all in the making, but I was really there 33 years ago, or even when I was in 10th grade or in 8th grade, and your heart is just on fire and hurting when people ignore you, reject you, and so forth. Even from a young child. You don't even want to live, God forbid, chas v'chalila. The rejection can feel so painful. But Yerushalayim, the ability to master your heart, to really infuse your heart with all the right wisdom, so you have a knowing heart, you have an understanding heart, that it's a human condition that they can't please you. They're not meant to be your mirror of your validation of you being you. You are you. You were chosen to be on this earth. Dayenu, there's souls that wait 800 years to come down on this earth. If you look at an angel, the angel is actually from one beginning point to the end of its height of greatness. It would take 500 years traveling to it. And yet, they are called Malachei Hashari. They are just messengers of peace. We are Balei Shalom. We are the owners of peace, because they are, as we all said, robots. They don't have free choice. But when we overcome this temptation of our heart getting cold, distant, and blocked with unhealthy walls, call it heart walls, call it the other person trying to gaslight you, all these terminologies that are roaming around every day. You redeem your heart. You cut the cords of your neediness, as we said. Women don't have to come down on this earth, but to elevate their men. They're not here to get love from them, respect from them. Yeah, we want them to love us for their sake. Yeah, we want them to respect us for their sake, because that shows that they're developing and growing because of our belief in them, our emunah in them, our respecting them, our loving them, our compassion toward their journey. They don't have bina, so it's very hard for them to actualize knowledge. So if we let them snuff out our light, then we're not a light, and then they can't shine. That's why we light the Shabbos candles, remember. We bring out the light and have the power to bring out the light in others. So as we see the daughters of Yerushalayim dancing happily, saying, I'm not going to be part of this physical world. I'm going to lift up my eyes. I'm going to see why I'm here in this relationship. I'm not going to look at their ugliness or if they have too much wealth or no wealth or lineage either. I'm going to be the example of the first thing that I'm asking my husband to do. If I'm asking, lift up your eyes and see the spiritual, that means I must do that. And that's what they did. The women of Yerushalayim. The daughters of Tzion was a different. They didn't reach that level. And today I was actually learning in the Tanya. And it said, the dot in the palace. Chochmah. Okay, remember, Chochmah is Yud. It's a very small, there's like this like little dot compared to all the letters of the Hebrew language. And this Yud, this dot, Chochmah, created the whole world. It was like the beginning process of such creation. So what is a dot in the palace? Meaning the palace represents everything of God's grandeur. Everything. And who better for us to know the beauty of a palace, right? Like we beautify it, we try, we shine, we try to bring beauty into the way we make that delicious meal. We try. We're in the palace, our palace, God's palace. And we have to be like the dot, I was thinking. Because when you have the dot, you have it all. Remember, the dot represents humbleness, bittul. Chochmah is the word koach ma, the power to be a what? Bittul, humble. That's what the daughters of Yerushalayim were saying. I'm coming to you in my ugly state. I'm a nobody. I'm a nothing. Whatever I am, it's Hashem. I'm working at refining. I'm working in elevation. But I'm not coming with arrogance. I'm not coming with my lineage and my beautiful clothing. You see? You can't even tell. I borrowed a dress, so you won't be able to tell. Begging that their spouse will be aligned and see the same thing. So when you are a dot in your palace, when you try to lift up your eyes to the spiritual and not so much the physical, you're setting the example for the other. You're being a dot. You're going to be humble. You're not going to be aggressive. You're not going to be demanding. You're not going to so easily please God, be chas v'chalila, but you're going to work on not being broken and shattered by their brokenness or shattered moment. Remember the class castle around your heart? Like, you have to build your castle, your palace. How can you? By being a dot. And my children's book, Castle Around Your Heart, is about that. Putting the guards of knowledge and wisdom and your prayers and meditation, these are the guards. So the arrows of the other won't shoot you down. You can look it up. It's on Turning Time, YouTube, on Miriam Heights. Both the book and the class that I gave. So I was thinking the dot in the palace is exactly today's Tanya. When you have that humbleness, when you let go of your expectations and your demanding energy, even if you're perfect on the outside, but you're carrying it in your insides, in your mind, in your heart, then you're not a dot. And then there's really no room for the Shekhinah to rest in your home as much. The more you become like the daughters of Yerushalayim, the more you work on this dot-like humbleness, the more the miracles come your way, because the Shekhinah is going to cause the miracles in your life. Not you. Not you preaching, not you putting people down, not even begging and constantly saying, my needs, you're not meeting my needs, you're not, because that just basically brings them down. Because you're just saying, you know, You're not making me happy, then you're a loser. You don't know how to make me happy. You're just like clueless. You're just like you're so inane. Not understanding. You're so brain fog. It's basically saying you're a nothing when you keep telling them how they're not, you're just saying you're a not when you are too demanding and too expressive of how they're not pleasing you and how they're not keeping your needs up. The more you're humble and are appreciative even of the little, like I remember learning somewhere, like the fact that you have a roof over your head, dayenu. Some people don't have a roof over their head. The fact that you have eyes, you have to find whatever the fact is, and whatever you already have in your life to make you high on life, like joy on steroids. And just be happy for that, for even that one thing, and live your life like you have everything for that one blessing that you're so grateful for. And everything else is nothing if you get it or not. Because it's all vanities of vanities. I sometimes give an example of like a lollipop. You see a child and they're so annoyed of the lollipop. They're crying. They wanted the bigger lollipop. They have the smaller lollipop. The other one, it's not so much bigger. It might be a little bigger, but it's just a lollipop. Why are you ruining your whole day? We're supposed to have joy. We're going to Disneyland today. But they'll go out of their minds because of that lollipop. But everything really in this world is like a lollipop. We, as adults, can see the child. Why are you like so... But a Yerushalayim, a moichin de godless type of person that has been able to more and more develop this completeness of their heart, of understanding, the more they realize everything is a lollipop in this world. We're just like passing through. We're just here on a mission. Again, women don't have to come down here to elevate their men. No, women don't have to come down here to do the tikkunim themselves. They're down here, to do the elevation of their men. But you have to know how. Work on yourself to get rid of your expectations. Love them as is. And this is the same with parenting. Love them, respect them as is, period. Work on strengthening your heart that you don't break from lack of the expectations that you had. I know it's hard, especially for women who've gotten out of their, homes of such traumas, and maybe their fathers were never home, or maybe their fathers were like so abusive, and maybe they were so abusive to their mothers, and they can't believe they're in the same situation as it. It's so hard, but it's not impossible. Please read my Kindness in Marriage book and the workbook that 30 plus years of working on these projects. It's there. Go on yournewheights.com. Get one of, I have, thank God, like many CBTT practitioners on my same website. Get support from them. Join these classes more. Get help from our CBTT practitioners who are out there ready to give support. They're like yearning. They're like, how come nobody's calling me so much? And I'm like, I'm trying to refer people to people like, they want so much to help, whether it's Hannah, Miriam, whether it's Deborah Rice, whether it's Suzette, whether it's even the men like Shlomo Mitzman, and whether it's like Yosef Weber, and many more who are like finishing up the CBTT training, and the training is for free. You can go on the Your New Heights, you just read the books. Anyways, there is everything at your fingertips these days to really say, Yagati umatzati tamin. I really put in the effort, and honestly, it's not like a 4-year program. It's like, reading, let's say, 3 to 5 books, and like, and reading some of the classes, and people have stopped me in the street and said, you know, my marriage completely turned around. I read your book and I listened to your classes. That's it. They didn't even call me. The information is there. Daughters of Yerushalayim, my dear soul sisters, you have been doing it, you will be doing it, and you will get to that higher and higher level of Bas HaMelech, daughters of Yerushalayim. I just want to say, you know, sometimes there's this dark energy around you, and it's so hard to break free from it. Such a sadness, such a heavy-heartedness, such a walled heart. I remember the mashal of the Breslov. There's like an image again of a wedding, and there's like a person who's in a bad mood, maybe, you know, lost a real big deal, but he has to be at this wedding, and he's just like slumping, he's not getting up to dance, it's written all over his face, he's done, he's not interested in being happy in this wedding, he's just there because he has to be there. Trust me, I've been in weddings where I've seen it. Oh my gosh. So what do the men of the wedding do? They take him, they put him in the middle of the circle, they get all the jokesters and jesters, you know, in Jewish weddings, they, you know, dress up and do all these like shenanigans and to like bring up and light up the fire of the joy, and they are like, oh, not letting him go until there's a smile that comes on his face. And so what happens? Finally, he starts to really have fun, and he forgets the problems and why he wasn't so in the mood, and he's really into it, and he's dancing with really happiness. So the rest of teaching is that you have to take this Yetzer Hara and drag it by the ear, as it were, and force it to be b'simcha. Put on happy music, dance like the daughters of Yerushalayim. See that you are lifting up your eyes to the spiritual and not looking at your problems and what's not going on, or so how many times you didn't have a date or whatever. Force this Yetzer Hara not to let you get down. And really get to be like the daughters of Yerushalayim. See the image. See the dancing, no matter what, no matter who. Let your fire keep shining. My daughters of Yerushalayim, I pray for you, dear soul sisters, every day, all day I'm getting calls. Even just today, I'm like, and I'm like, even just today, a woman so broken that her husband didn't do this, and her husband said he wasn't going to do that, and he did that, and da-da-da-da. Hysterical, crying. And I know, especially those who have been through trauma, everything can trigger. But if you redeem your heart, Yerushalem, less and less what people do hurt you. Less and less do you end up in that constricted, blocked place. More and more you'll be like that person that didn't want to dance for real dancing. I want to spend some time here for any questions. Yes. There's a lot of toughness out there in the world, but we got to keep dancing, and we keep our spirits, and we are the daughters of Yerushalayim. Again, no matter who, no matter what, even if people judge according to looks and lineage and money, and we have to just have our faith. And we have to say to Hashem, I'm lifting my eyes and not paying attention to the material. Mida keneged mida, Hashem will cause my zivug, whether the zivug that's supposed to come or the zivug I have, to lift up their eyes. But I have to be the role model. I have to be the one lifting my eyes first. If I'm not lifting my eyes first, then how can I dare demand aid? If I'm in the muck and I'm in my sad and I'm in my constricted heart, block walls and I don't want to go further, then no wonder. So easy for the other also to be. No wonder. I have to let go. I just have to do my work and not be demanding that they do their work, because it doesn't work that way. And I let go and let God. I say, thank you, Hashem, that you gave me the opportunity to lift my eyes and look toward the spiritual. And I know you will. Mida, Keneged Mida, which is measure for measure. I did my part. I might have not have fully achieved it, but I'm doing my part. Hashem will do his part. Okay? And I'm telling you, it might take a few years, 10 years, even 20. Like when you raise kids also, it's not like when they're even 10, and not when they're 18, and not sometimes even if they're 22 or 25. Just like it's not happening for our own spiritual and mental and emotional and spiritual development. Age 55 and it's not there yet. So the more we let go and just look at our own heart and do our own dancing, whether we get picked or not right now, whatever. Wow. I see someone's coming to this class. So let me just, hold on one second. I think the door is open. Come on in. Hashem, come on into my home, the palace that is a dot. Hi.
I came to say you're probably over.
Yes, it's right now at the end, but I'm glad you at least came. Okay, you're on Facebook and on Zoom. Oh my gosh.
I had to stay and say hello to Rita.
Wow, no, I know. Oh, there's a thing here, yeah. Anyway, so I guess I'll say goodbye and I'll dance with this daughter of Yerushalmi.
Amen.
Oh my gosh, when the last time we were together in that event.
I
Wow.
know.
So happy to see people after so long. All right, ready to dance? Daughters of Yerushalmi.
Miriam, how do you get rid of this negative energy? My daughter feels this.
Oh,
energy
let's not talk about personal because it's recorded. But basically, when you have the people around you that are so negative, the more you humble yourself, the more Shekhinah comes into the picture, and the more the Shekhinah. There's a sentence, Shekhinah, it's called Esh of Chalav. You remember from the Pesach retreat, like 10 years ago?
Hi.
This is my, Baruch Hashem.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
We were up in Ojai.
Many years ago.
Ventura, like about 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, but also even before that, was that your first one? Anyway, back to the question. We'll catch up. But the issue is that when you're like a dot, then the Shekhinah can rest in your palace, in your home. When the Shekhinah rests in your home, then that fire of the Shekhinah eats up the unholy fire of the other. So if you're angry or sad or broken because he's this and she's that, then it's like there's no space for, or not as much space for godliness. Not as much space for the Shekhinah to rest. One, you can pray for them. You can meditate for them. But the more you fix yourself, all of us are one soul. So they are in your soul. So if you fix your anger and your sadness, then they're fixed. It's like, science is actually proving it. It's so cool.
That's so awesome.
It's like so cool. Like it's unbelievable. The power and the synergy of energies of the oneness of the world. They did something with monkeys, and there was some kind of situation where the monkeys couldn't get their food somehow, and the monkeys were really good. They noticed all around the world the monkeys were affected by this group.
God.
Yeah, and it was scientifically documented. And
It's like
oh my gosh, there's all kinds of documents that petri dishes. You think so negative about them, and like far away, like they can disintegrate, or say a blessing on water, and the molecules just like grow because of the positive thoughts. So there's a lot we can do in our mind that will affect them. There's a lot of things, mitzvahs that we can do in their merit to to unleash their powers. There's a lot we can do. We cannot give up. We constantly just be the example. And in my books, I write a lot about that. A lot of suggestions in a lot of my other classes. But so I just say we just can't give up hope. We just have to keep trying. And we will see the results of our efforts. Again, things take time, 10 years, even 15 years, but that's why we're here. We're here to elevate and bring out the light, especially in our own family, and hopefully have a broader influence to the whole world by our example in our own home, because what we do in our own homes affects the whole world. As I said, all right, I better go. I do have other sessions, and I want to spend a few minutes here before I have to go to the next. Next week, I'll tell you, we will be starting a 7-week program. It's going to be for young professionals and teens at the BeverlyWood. It'll be Thursday night, I believe. I don't know exact time and don't know the exact location. Look up for that. There is going to be the marriage dialogues back on track. Hopefully my husband was out of town and it didn't work as much as we tried maybe today to do it, but it couldn't be fit in. But we'll go back on track on, I think, Tuesday. And then we have a 2-day retreat that we're going to end up doing Zoom and Facebook Live, a lot of it. So we'll keep you posted. I know we keep posting a lot of things, but if you want personal invitations to things, you can go text me, WhatsApp me, PM me, and I'll include you so you'll get the invitation, so you don't last minute see it on Facebook and you didn't know it was going to happen and you're have missed it, anything that you want to join. Love you, my dear soul sisters and brothers, and thank you for another opportunity to be together and share such knowledge of Hashem, so that your Tu B'Av will be like never before. Every time you see a dot, every time you see... we forgot about the moon. Okay. Because I ended last class with the moon.
Okay.
The idea is that Rosh Chodesh...
Oh, it's a full moon.
Full moon, right. So the full moon is gets to be a full moon after it's been smaller and smaller. So that's why Rosh Chodesh Haftorah talks about Hashem doesn't want your Torah mitzvahs. He doesn't want all these different things, but for the Torah mitzvahs to make you humble like the moon, because the moon gets smaller and smaller, and then it becomes greater and greater. So the more you remove your expectations, your sadness, your whatever, your this, your whatever it is, and you become smaller in your eyes, like the dot in the palace, like Koach Ma, a little review because you're just now coming, the more you become full of light, like the moon.
I'm getting the chills.
Yeah.
I love it.
I miss those days we were learning together at the retreat. I hope you can come to the 2-day retreat.
When is it?
It's August 23rd and 24th.
Where is it?
So I'll announce now, because some of you may have already gotten the email. We had a double booking, unfortunately. The place that we were supposed to be in Running Springs,
Oh, wow.
they couldn't take us to the day after, and Orita Strider actually made tickets to come from New York to here, and she's coming from Israel.
Oh my God.
It was just, we were a week and a half trying to find a place. We found one place that was $2,000 a day just for 7 people without food.
Oh.
You don't know how much. We tried to contact Valencia. We had one event there. We tried so many places. So I decided to do it here.
Here in your house?
In my house.
Beautiful.
So we are booked for the 7 that booked already, that are going to be sleeping here. But since you live locally, kind of,
yeah,
you can just drive in, and we'll make it free, and people who are around the corner can join. And people who want to give a donation to my nonprofit will go to Malibu the first day and eat at Fish Grill, and go to the Adams Park there that's on the beach, and have one of our courses. We'll have gym and swim and dancing here. I'll post soon the information and the beautiful flyer. Thank you, Hannah, for always making those flyers and the Zooms. We're going to go to another location. Oh gosh, that park down Robertson. What's the name of that park?
At the end, not Circle Park.
No, it's all the way at the end of Robertson. There's lakes and waterfalls and
Oh my
mountains.
God!
What is that
It's
place?
La Cienega, something Han.
Yes,
Han.
Han.
Yeah.
Oh, so we'll go there one day.
It's beautiful,
It's
but
beautiful.
It's not Robertson. It's La Cienega.
Oh, it's down but you don't get the freeway on Robertson, no? Or is it La Cienega?
Well, you could take the freeway to
Right.
Robertson
Okay. So
and
it's
get off at
right, and
La
then
Cienega
you right.
and
So
come
it is
up.
down La Cienega. You're right.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous there. So we don't have to
Exactly
go to
right.
Redding
Kenneth
Springs.
Hahn.
Kenneth Hahn.
It's gorgeous.
Gorgeous. So we're gonna go
Gorgeous
there.
park.
We're gonna meditate. We're gonna climb. We're just soul sisters getting together, so everyone can join and we'll all dance.
You can go on Pico,
Yeah. So Bezrat Hashem, and we have a pool here.
Oh,
We'll
I
do
wanna check.
aerobics and we'll do dance meditations. I'm really looking forward. Yes, I can't wait. For many of our Facebook people who have not seen us in public, I can't wait till we could really see each other in live, really, not live Facebook. Those of you who want to join, people who want to can go get a hotel somewhere. They can be part of it. There are, hotels not even 6-minute drive away from my house. Maybe, if you can't, we'll figure it out. If you really want to come from out of town, but I can't wait. This is dancing with sisters and soul sisters. It just makes me so excited about this next retreat. All right. Oh, not a retreat. Getaway.
A getaway.
Because retreat, the Rebbe used to say.
A getaway holiday.
Right, because retreat is going back, and the Rebbe said do not use the word retreat.
Really?
So I have to be careful because it's so easy to remember how other people call these things. But
Yeah.
I like to call it a getaway.
There's a name I'll have to think of it something that the Chabad uses. It's like a get together. What do you call a get together?
There's the Farbrengen, and there's the Kumzas, and there's all kinds of words. I couldn't find any. I was days and days. They've been posted on Facebook. Anyone know a name better for retreat? Anyone? Still trying to find it.
What is
Because getaway is also you're escaping, and you're not really
Right,
escaping. You're
right.
really
getting
coming.
into it?
Yeah, you're really.
No, there's that other lady who does something. You might know her. She's Chabad. No, it's not Kunin. It's oh my God, her husband passed away unfortunately, but she does so many. I don't know if she calls it a retreat. You must know her. Oh my God, she's Chabad. She's famous.
Oh, it's okay.
I'll think of it.
All right. Anyway, so beautiful. Keep dancing, and see you next week.
Oh, Olivia Schwartz. You know Olivia?
So we'll find out what she calls it.
Yeah, but I do think she was married to Schwartzy. Schwartzy.
Oh.
And Olivia takes
You know,
over.
oh my gosh, my husband knows Schwartzy. Yeah,
Yeah,
small
he
world.
passed
All right, I'm just
away.
gonna say
Yes, Litra
Lead see you later, as I say. Let's see, ending here. I think I closed it.
I love your house.
Oh my
It's beautiful.
gosh,
Lots
it's
of
a
tile.